Greetings of peace, love, and light, and welcome to Raising SunRays, where we explore the esoteric in parenting. I'm your host, Robyn Ringgold, and today we have a great guest with us. Her name is Janet Nestor. Hi, Janet.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. This will be a
We're
fun
happy to have
interview.
you. So Janet is a published author. She's listed as number 148 on Richtopia's list of the top 200 authors worldwide. She's a speaker, a holistically minded, highly intuitive licensed counselor with a passion for facilitating mind, body, and spirit healing. Janet is considered an expert in anxiety, stress management, and mindful living. You can learn more about her and her books and her work at www.janetnestor.com. And we'll also put links in the video below with her Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and all of her information so that you guys can contact her after the interview. Some of her most recent works include Pathways, these are books, Pathways to Wholeness, Nurturing Wellness Through Radical Self-Care, Yeshua, 100 Meaning Messages for Messengers, and a host of other books. So, Janet, sounds like you've been really busy.
I have
So,
been busy, very busy.
so tell us a
But
little
it's
bit.
fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tell us a little bit about your work and your books and about you.
I always get tongue-tied when someone asks me those questions because I have my fingers in way too many puddles. But I spend a lot of my time writing these days, and so I'm co-writing a book right now with Cornelia Merck on healing, and so I spend a lot of my time doing that. But I have other things that I absolutely love to do that fill my soul and give me the sparkle that gives me through the days. I love my counseling work, although I don't do that as much as I used to. But I have my soul art drawings that I love to do. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, absolutely. So today's segment is about greetings from the womb. So you do some really interesting work. So you actually do drawings for women who are pregnant, and those drawings are called soul drawings. Is that what you call them?
Well, I call it soul art, but they're energy drawings. They're drawings of the baby's energy field, the aura of the baby that's developing. And it's really exciting because I can pick up a pregnancy very, very early. And it's fun all the way up through.
Wow. Okay, so I think people are familiar with auras and aura colors, and some of us have even had pictures of our auras taken. So let's just talk a little bit about what an aura is and how that energy field works.
Okay. Well, your aura is just really your life spark, the energy that's in your body that keeps you alive. And it's not only in us, it shines around us, depending on our health and our energy and a lot of things. But a typical aura is arm's length, about 3 feet around us. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. Like if we get really frightened, it'll close in, things like that.
So is that what we feel when people walk into the room and we can kind of feel their presence? Is that part of their aura that we're feeling?
Yes, that's their energy field. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So obviously we get that when we decide to come into this earth or planet or plane or dimension, however you want to refer to it. So can you just talk a little bit about a baby's aura? Do they come in with a full aura like we have?
Not usually.
Okay.
Um, that's the miracle of this, I think. Um, there, a human aura, an adult aura, or even a teenager or a child that's 10 or 11 will have full color, lots of layers, all kinds of things showing in their energy field. Their intuitive nature, their third eye, their soul history, their life history, illnesses, allergies, all kinds of things show up in the drawing. But for an infant, especially if, uh, that's unborn, that's still in the womb, you usually just it's almost unseeable on the paper when I draw it. It's very light. Um, there's not a lot of stuff in the drawing. There's no life history that shines through usually. Um, but sometimes there are indications of what this, in the drawing is a prediction of the child's life, so to speak. It's all in there, their likes and dislikes, the things they want to tell their parents about them before they're born, whether they feel safe or not, whether they need a lot of love or they're just free, spirit kind of kids. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that's awesome. So, I'm just thinking about when I was pregnant, I would have loved to have some of that information. So let's just talk about this.
I
Yeah.
would have too. When I was pregnant with my children, I wasn't yet doing this work, so I was a blind mama too. But now, with me doing this work and other people doing this work, I don't know, um, there's more information out there for moms and dads about their babies and how to help their children grow up being healthy and happy and feeling really comfortable with themselves and loving life. It's
Right.
exciting.
So before we get into the actual work that you do to bring forth these drawings, let's just kind of set I guess, the tone for this. So my personal belief is that, every soul comes here to incarnate. They select their parents and they select what experience they want to have so that their soul can expand and grow. So with that being said, like you said, they come in, they know kind of like, okay, these are going to be my parents. These are going to be the experiences I'm going to have. But obviously they know what can help them have the best experience possible. So we as parents, I think as this energy or the shift is kind of happening on our planet, a lot more parents are kind of open to this. So I kind of just wanted to set the stage for, how like that a baby is a soul, that it's not just a baby, it's a soul coming onto this planet.
It is a soul coming onto this planet. That's how I can draw the energy. The energy is there actually the moment fertilization takes place. There's an energy of the baby. The youngest baby I've picked up was still in the fallopian tube.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm serious. And so, but it still had to make its way, the egg still had to make its way down the tube and attach to the womb. That's the youngest one I've done. But what I want to say too is that I've also done young children, that are months old or, before they're 2 or 3. And sometimes those drawings are extraordinarily helpful to parents, not just because there's something wrong, but just to know your child.
Right, absolutely. I can imagine that even when they are teenagers and young adults, it's still helpful to know how to help them best.
Absolutely, absolutely, all the way through life.
So, okay, so if I was a pregnant woman, which I'm not, I've had my turn. Um, if I was a pregnant woman and I came to you, let's just talk about how the process works.
Well, people usually come to me because they have a question. They're wondering about something. Something maybe sometimes the doctor has said, something that, some old wives' tale that someone's frightened them with. Or sometimes it's just because they know somebody who knows somebody who I did a drawing for, and they're excited that they want to have it. But the process works just usually they have a question that they want to ask. Some people don't. They just say, go into this tall, cold turkey and let's see what comes out and comes from the drawing. And others, they really want, distinct information of what their child's going to be like. And so they have specific questions. And if they do have specific questions, I obviously, when I tap in to the energy of the baby, I ask those questions, just trying to make the transition from spirit, really, because when the baby is in the womb, it's more spirit than it is human at that time. It's the birth process that awakens the baby to a new life.
Right.
They're preparing in the womb for this new life more than we ever could guess, really. But they don't really enter it until the birth process. So.
And it's interesting. I was thinking about how a lot of people are very open to the idea that their loved ones, once they pass on back into spirit, that they are souls and that they're still there, and that sometimes they can talk to them and see them. So conversely, it makes perfect sense that you would be able to tap into a baby before it comes into the body, because it's a soul and it's still there. So I'm just kind of making that correlation, because I think sometimes people relate one but not the other.
I know, it's the same process in reverse.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Can I tell a story?
Sure, absolutely.
I think this is a fun story. It's a personal story, but it's an exciting story. My daughter was getting ready to have her first baby, and I was already doing these drawings, and we hadn't really done drawings, but we've been talking about the baby a lot, and what to expect and all that kind of thing. And I was at her home with, waiting with her and her husband for the birth. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and, wide awake, like, whoo, like the middle of the day. And I thought, this is really, this is unusual. So I just, how you open your eyes and you kind of survey the room. The room is full, and I mean full of angels, spirit beings, completely full. 3 of them standing up front who kind of introduced themselves. And I don't remember all their names, but I remember the one who was doing the talking called herself Betty, who now I know is Archangel Gabriel, but I didn't know that then. And so they said, don't be afraid. We're here to usher the baby into the world. And we'll be here until he's comfortable with being alive on this plane. And I said, okay, that's nice, and I'm thinking, thank you. And they just gradually, disappeared. And I'm thinking, should I get up and tell my daughter what's happened? And I decided to wait until morning. And I knocked on her door and I said, I need to tell you what's happened. And she says, Mom, I'm in labor.
Wow.
And I said, okay, that's exciting. Well, then I will tell you who is here to greet the baby. So I told her that, and her first thing was, oh, should I be afraid? And I said, no, they're here for the baby, right, to usher the baby in. And we'll know that he's interacting with them for the first few days of life because he's going to be able to see them. So we decided to watch. This was both of our first experiences with that, and it was exceptionally exciting. We knew the moment his eyes caught them and the moment he wasn't seeing them, and because he would just light up. It was like, oh, and he would do little baby things that said, oh, I'm excited. And there was nothing of it. It was so obvious when he was seeing them. And so that experience lasted 3 or 4 days, and then they were gone. But I thought maybe you and your viewers would like to hear that story.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, we all say prayers and we all see miracles happen, but sometimes we don't get to see the other side, like how you were able to. But I mean, it's amazing.
I've seen that. I've seen the angels appear a second time. And I was with a client, a young mother who was undergoing a very high-risk pregnancy. And I went with her to the birth. And we were in a hospital, but we were in a birthing center. And the delivery was by a doula, but by a midwife, but the doctor was present also. And as they were preparing they were going to have to suction the baby. It was very dramatic. But as they were getting ready to do that, again, the room filled up. Wow. More beings than you could absolutely imagine could get into a hospital room, they were all there. And just the same way, we're here to usher the baby into life. So I'm guessing, since I've seen that twice now, that that's normal. Every baby gets that.
Yes. Wow. Wow. So of course I have to tell my story about I wasn't able to actually see beings, but I had a home birth with the midwife, and my mother is actually taking pictures for me and documenting the whole experience. So my husband at the time, he and I were, going through the birthing process, and my midwife, I saw a look on her face, and I said, "Uh-oh, something's wrong." So, I'm at the pushing phase, and she said to me, "No, don't worry, but don't push so hard." So I knew something was not working out well. So a few minutes later, when my daughter finally came out, she goes like this, and she unravels the cord from around her neck like 5 times. And she said, every
Your
time you
doctor said
yeah, no, my midwife, her cord was wrapped around her neck. So every time I pushed too hard, it was yanking her cord and
that? Oh,
breathing. And so I said to my mom, I said, "You didn't get a picture of that?" And she said, "No, no, no. I was too busy praying." And I knew though that we had some help at that time. So
absolutely.
yes,
It's
yes,
amazing how deeply and richly we're cared for.
yes.
No matter how many drawings I do, no matter how many births, no matter how many anythings, any readings that I do for people for other reasons, it just keeps teaching me how many loving spiritual beings are caring for us 24/7.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Wow. So let's go back to the drawings that you actually did.
Uh-huh.
So if I came to you with a question about my child, like, he's really kicking a lot, and I feel like, is something wrong? Maybe something simple as that. So
Uh-huh.
let's talk about how you would proceed from there.
Okay. Well, I would probably say to you, kicking is normal, and so don't worry about it. However, I would also say, let's do the drawing and see what your baby has to say, see what spirit has to say. And I would do the drawing, and I would send you a picture of it. And I take it with my phone and send it to you. And then I would say, let's make an appointment and we can talk about the reading.
Okay.
And then at that point, we go into detail. I would have sent you the picture. I would have sent you a printed copy of the information that I picked up. And then we talk about it on the phone for about an hour.
Okay.
And
So
during those conversations
okay.
on the phone, lots of times other information will come up because the mom will ask specific questions that weren't asked during the drawing. Hmm.
Okay. So do you have any sample drawings that you could show us?
I don't have it right here.
Okay.
I wish I did. I will send. I'll see if I can show you this though. I
Okay.
have sitting here in front of me a drawing of Archangel Chamuel that I did. It's exactly, almost exactly what the aura drawings look like.
Okay.
I'll see if you can see it.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes, we can slightly. Yes, we can kind of see like the outline. So,
Hmm. And
so
the reason this is so much like a baby's drawing, because that's pure spirit.
okay,
And
okay.
so the baby's drawings look a lot like that because there's just not a lot of life history. Uh,
So, so let's just explore that for just a second. So basically, when we come in, we're kind of pure because we just left spirit, right? So
mhm.
as we get, like traumas or things happen to us, then our aura starts changing colors. Because I think I have a point of confusion because I know that sometimes people's, of course, the aura changes colors, but I think some people are born with a certain colors that have something to do with their soul's purpose. So could you just talk a little bit about the color changes and
I can. um, Excuse me. Um, when I first do the infant, the colors are almost always very pastel. They'll be pink, lavenders, once in a while a little bit of yellow or blue or something like that. But mostly, and the reason they're pink is because that's the lightest color I can put on the paper.
Okay.
If I put white on the paper, it wouldn't be able to be seen.
Right.
So I just use a flesh color or a pink color because that's all that's there. Now, just recently, I did a drawing of a baby whose third eye was literally present on the drawing.
Wow.
Now, I will be honest, I've done hundreds of them, and it's the first time I've ever seen a developed third eye in a baby.
So do you think that's a result of the times changing, or is that just the result of that individual soul's journey to have his third eye already present and open, I guess, when he comes in?
Present and open. He's coming in clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient.
Okay.
Unbelievable. So I do think it is a sign of times changing, that babies are being born more aware, more aware of their spiritual histories.
Yes, yes, yes. So what kind of information? Just give us some samplings of information that kind of come through the actual reading after you've drawn the aura.
Okay. Well, I was just doing that with the baby that I just did. It's really interesting. He was his main usually wanted to tell you what colors that they want the birth room to be like, pray, those kinds of things. They do that. On candles, they really say those things to their mothers through these drawings. The one that we did in preparation for doing this interview, he wasn't concerned about any of that. All he wanted to know all he wanted was a name that had kind of a lyrical feel about it. He said that kind of rolled off your tongue.
Uh-huh.
And he said, it doesn't matter to me what you call me, as long as you have a loving tone when you speak it.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, that's an amazing thing.
Right, it is.
This is a baby still in utero, and he's giving mom that kind of information. And he also said, the only thing that matters to me is that I know that I'm loved.
Wow.
He just wanted to know that he was going to be loved and cared for. That was it. That was his safety requirements.
Wow.
Some babies come in with lists. Oh, with 20 items on it. I want a pink blanket. I want to be wrapped up in it immediately. I want candlelight. I want music, and this is the kind of music I like.
Wow. Wow. This is really interesting. So let's just talk a little bit to parents who might be watching this, who have already had their children and who didn't get these readings and didn't know that information. So let's just talk a little bit about how intuition plays into some of this, how slowing down, breathing, meditating, connecting to your child. Let's talk a little bit about that and things that they can do now.
I think that's so important, Robyn, because you really don't need an intuitive to tap into the energy of your child. You just simply do not. But you do have to take time to be with your child, even, pre-birth. And I really mean from the moment of conception, that child is picking up information about you, your home, noise levels, voice tones, everything, which is just amazing. So that we want, and circumstances of birth are so different. I mean, sometimes we're surprised by a pregnancy, sometimes we don't know how to react, and and it takes a little while to adjust to that. And and then other times we've been wanting to be pregnant for years, and this is like a gift from God. And so that baby is, begins with a different energy. Um, and so, but what I want to say to parents is that's life.
Yes.
That is just life. We all have different beginnings, and we get here different ways. We get here with different goals. And you mentioned something at the beginning is that we pick our parents. And I will also say our parents pick us. It's a joint adventure. We, as parents, don't know it that we've made that choice. But how many times have I heard a mother say, I feel a spirit's waiting to be born around me? Or
Wow.
I think I'm going to get pregnant soon because I kind of feel it and I think she's going to be a girl. I mean, I I think all mothers have had some kind of experience with that.
Yeah.
So um, the important thing is that, um, well, I mean, just face it. Every child doesn't enter a loving household.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
But
but
I'm
I,
sorry.
I, I want to say something about that, if that's okay.
Sure, sure.
And I will say that because the child knew that when they chose you.
Yes. And that's exactly what I wanted to say is that then that just becomes part of the child's journey. That's what their soul needs to grow through and expand. So,
That's exactly right. So when mothers are worrying about what their history has been, what they've done, what they haven't done, I just always say that's part of your journey. That's part of the baby's journey. That's why you've chosen each other.
yes, yes. And part of this journey is loving ourselves and being kind to ourselves and not blaming ourselves. Yes.
Absolutely. Um, so it's just a really exciting experience. And for me to be able to draw these, to be able to say loving, supporting things to a mother who's worrying about something, um, or for the baby to actually say, Mom, don't worry.
Yes. Yes.
And they don't necessarily use those words, but they'll say, everything is good, this is what I need from you, and I know because I'm telling you,
Right.
that
Right.
you'll do your best to give me that. And I think that's all parents need to know. We need to know that we do our best. And whatever our best is, that's good enough. And when we know better, we do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a couple of the things that you said, it reminded me of another interview. My first interview that I did with the shaman, it was about the energy of the home, and bringing your child or raising your child in a loving environment. And so when you talked about the candles and the tone of the person's name, and so I just think about how all these things like are so helpful and really matter to children growing up and to us as parents. You know, the peacefulness inside of your home, the daily 5 minutes that you sit and kind of center yourself so that you can have patience with your children. All of that really plays into this whole thing. I just wanted to tell. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it does. Everything plays into it. And I can't say enough. I mean, we all want to do our best. I never met a mother who doesn't want to do her best. I don't care what her situation in life is.
Right.
She always wants to do her best. And a father, too. They always, want to do their best, whatever that best is and however they define it. And I think that's all spirit expects of us. And like I said, that's part of our journey.
Yes.
It's part of the baby's journey. And I never want a new parent expecting a baby to be intimidated by this kind of process because it's all part of life.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Something else interesting that you mentioned was that we as parents choose our children, and then the children choose. It's kind of I guess, a two-way street. And so we hear a lot that parents or that children are here to teach parents. So could you just kind of expand on that? I know I've learned a great deal from my children just from raising a lot about myself and about life and,
Absolutely. Well, I think we come here to teach each other. I like it to say it that way because I think it's absolutely true. We come here to teach each other. Like the little guy who I just drew as in preparation for this, he was definitely coming in to share his experience of life with his mother. There's no doubt about it. He told her, I'm an intuitive child. I'm going to need you to understand that. When I say weird things like, did you see that angel? Or did you hear that voice? Not to be shocked and just to say, yeah, tell me about it, to reinforce his ability to be intuitive so that he can carry that with him all of his life.
Yeah.
Rather than to be afraid of it, but to encourage it.
Yeah.
And I think that if in these changing times, I think that's what we're being encouraged to do.
Absolutely.
Encourage awareness in our children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, I really feel like we've kind of covered everything. I mean, I know that you're available to do readings for parents, even after their children are born. It just doesn't have to be just in the soul, right? I mean, in the womb, excuse me.
No, I do these drawings for pre-birth babies, for people through all stages of their lives. And sometimes if there's been a tragedy, an accident, a suicide, or whatever, people will come along extended illness. People will come to me and say, will you help me with this? Will you check, make this drawing and let's talk about what comes up. And for quite a while, years ago, I had these two widowed wives who would come to my office once a year to talk to their husbands.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And it was a really interesting journey because I was taking it with them.
Wow.
And I learned so much from doing that.
Wow. So I just had one interesting thought, there are intuitives out there that you can go get readings from. So you actually do a drawing and the reading. So is that your special gift, or do you feel like you're getting something different from the drawing than you just, if you were just to intuit something for the person, or like, is that kind of your specialty to do the drawing and the reading?
I think it is a specialty that I do, and the information is different sometimes. It's amazing what can come up in a drawing. The one, this one baby that I thought maybe we would end up talking about today, on the back of his drawing, the drawing that I did for him was just the normal, innocent little drawing that babies, usually have. But he said, I want my soul history in this drawing.
Wow.
Okay. So I turned the art paper over and I listened to what he was saying and made an image of what he considered to be his soul history.
Wow.
So things like that happen that would not happen if I was just doing a reading.
Right, right.
And then sometimes after I've sent the drawing and the written reading to a parent, a mom or a dad will have questions that are just very deep and insightful questions, which we would not have gotten to if I'd have just done the reading.
Right. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I just wanted to touch upon that because I think that, I wanted people to really understand what it is that is unique about what you're doing.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with our readers or our listeners today?
I just want to say that I am appreciative. Thank you for inviting me to do this. And I really mean that from my heart because this is my love. This is one of the things that I do that keeps me doing what I do. I have learned personally so much over the years from drawing these pictures, images for people that I could possibly have learned. I've had symbols come up from the 12 tribes of Israel. I've had, unbelievable things come up in these drawings that how would have, so I think this is my gift to the world, so to speak, to be able to do this. And I'm so appreciative for your time.
Yes, well, we are very appreciative as well. So I just wanted to thank our listeners for joining us today. Thank you, Janet. I am also deeply appreciative for you joining us on Raising SunRays. So once again, you can visit www.janetnestor.com for readings, for other information, for links to her books. Also, I will put all that information in below the video on YouTube, and so that you can go to her Twitter or Facebook. And, I want to encourage parents with children of any ages or unborn children to contact Janet and just to get more information to help you, better parent. And I don't want to say better meaning that you're not a good parent if you don't, but just to give you clues, just to give you information that you can use to, help you parent your child. So thank you again. And I really appreciate you being here today, and I'm really grateful for all of your gifts.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I leave you in peace, love, and light, and remember to click like and subscribe to Raising SunRays.